It's fun stuff, science fiction and all that old crazy TV shows. Okay, let's get going here, YouTube. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 410. Does the Federation's Utopia cost your freedom? Cost your freedom. I don't know what freedom he's referring to, but we're going to find out. This is a video made by Lore Reloaded that came out in September of this year. Has about 67,000 views, and he's got a nice, healthy like to dislike ratio of 3.3 thousand to 200. So people like his content. Good for him. Good stuff. I tried watching half this video. I didn't get very far in understanding him, and I hope he has a conclusion that makes sense, because there's lots of things about the Federation which is sort of left unsaid, and he's hopefully trying to give us an understanding of where the Federation is wrong or bad or utilitarian or not utilitarian. I don't know what exactly he's arguing for, but the thumbnail is, I mentioned before to these guys about, is it a bad version of Steve Shive's interpretation of the Federation being this leftist utopia world or what? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far with the video, so I'm not sure.
I never managed to catch Steve Shives' take on this theory here about
everything he says about Star Trek. Oh, this is a left-leaning paradise. It's fantastic. Oh, everyone wants to accept the right. Those are horrible, horrible people.
How about no?
Yeah, how about no? It's like, to give credit to Lore Reloaded, he at least mostly sticks strictly to like the in-universe lore and points about certain things. He doesn't it doesn't bring any outside things like that into it.
It's still a bit dodgy. I was having a problem following it. So lots of stuff about memory wiping or memory engrams, which has always been a weird thing in Star Trek. They never really go into too much detail. It usually goes in the form of aliens or Vulcans or telepathic beings using their amazing abilities to rewrite people or change them or whatever, whereas the Federation just has medical procedures to fix people. But they didn't have to, because we don't have too much crime on Earth or anywhere else. So it's all in outer space where all the bad stuff happens. Anyway, let's get going. A 15-minute video about, and we'll see how this goes.
This video brought to you by Surfshark VPN.
The claim I was only following orders has been used to justify too many tragedies in our history. Starfleet doesn't want officers who will blindly follow orders without analyzing the situation.
Before I delve too deeply into all of this, I want to clarify that this video started out as an analysis of communicators and just morphed into, well, the culture and oppressive nature of the Federation through the military arm of Starfleet. People may, wrongly, think this is some kind of attempt to bring issues occurring in real life into Trek. Now, I'm not above doing that. In fact, I think when it's appropriate we should, but this, honestly, it just turned out the way it did. I'll be presenting what the creators of Star Trek have written and just discuss that. Whether you like the implications or not, don't blame me.
No.
The trouble is Earth.
Really?
On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise.
I'm just a messenger. From around roughly 2265 until...
This is kind of what I didn't really like about DS9, although it's an alright show. I wasn't really into it because I feel like Star Trek kind of ended after the TOS movies, and whatever they made at TNG and such were their own thing, but that's for another cast to do.
No, honestly,
I feel like it's DS9 was trying to show a very different side of Star Trek, and
and it was honestly
problems were just unrelated, because if you go by TOS rules, it seems if the Federation is already set up some shop there, that they can have unlimited food pretty much, and resources aren't the question anymore, aside for some things that cannot be replicated.
Well, when you have a non-scarcity environment, so you have lithium crystals making all this energy, you can replicate anything, you can make spaceships, you can transport stuff instantly. a lot of problems are resolved. A lot of humans' issues for poverty and housing and food and safety and crime, these are almost been completely eliminated. We don't need money. Everyone has abundance. So we're good. Everything's great. We can all pursue intellectual pursuits or emotional pursuits or whatever the hell we like. And the Federation is this militaristic, but not so militaristic organization that wants to unite people in this concept of discovery and learning and yada yada.
Yeah, that is the whole point of what the post TOS of a series and movies that they very specifically wanted. I think it was like Gene specifically wanted to establish the fact that they were not military anymore, at least not as before. That they wanted to have that future be much more peaceful, where there would be no conflict. Unfortunately, writing-wise, it was not going to benefit them that much.
There's not much to say when you don't have too many people with not using lethal weapons or not using weapons at all. It's kind of boring, or not getting into dangerous situations. So you have to do something that's life-threatening. You can't just have another virus or another alien or this or that. There has to be something. There has to be trouble in paradise. There has to be. You can't just have Utopia. Utopia stories always devolve. The same with post-apocalyptic worlds. They're always uplifting in some way. There has to be some hope that's so paramount in this, whatever it is, whatever story it is, there has to be some great thing that's going to happen or you're striving for. And sometimes that's the ending of the story. Hope, not the actual solution, but a hope that's in the horizon, in the future. So Star Trek has never been this perfect world that makes sense. Makes just enough sense if you don't ask questions. So
I would also like to mention that scene of Cisco mentioning how much of a paradise Earth is, that's actually from, if I remember correctly, that's from an episode, from one of the episodes that reintroduced the Maquis into through DS9.
Yeah,
because it was an off mention, I think, in TNG. It's like a one-off mention, but then they turned the Maquis into a proper like major plot point as of DS9.
They didn't really work with it very much in Voyager. They sort of forgot about it, and
only in that some of the crew members were former Maquis. That's pretty much it.
I know, but there was no real conflict. It was just, you're just, this was happening in the Alpha Quadrant. Who cares? It's no longer an issue, or the Delta Quadrant, wherever they were. Like it was no longer.
So, yeah.
It was no longer a factor in who they are. It's just you're with us, and we're all together. We got to get along, and we're like, okay. Which is
only
boring.
a few like moments here and there early on, but after that it's like, okay, we gotta get back home, we gotta work together. That's it.
Yeah, it wasn't
nothing
very
else
fun.
came out of it.
I wanted in crew fighting. I wanted this weird power struggle. I wanted stuff that I don't know if you remember Stargate Universe, was it? They had a lot of problems between who was in charge, and it wasn't just the civilians and the military. It was everyone. It was like everyone who was having a power struggle. And even when they had other people involved and they got those rebels involved, like all these power struggles were happening. That's politicking. It's great stuff. And they never really did that in Star Trek or Voyager, rather. And I don't know why. It seems like a very good scenario. And it's only when they had like Year of Hell or all those other arcs that were just brutal and heavy duty, like, oh yeah, this is cool. But there's a lot of bad episodes in Voyager where just nothing happens or they're not very interesting. So
yeah,
or they screw around with technology and aliens so much it's like, oh, that's stupid. This is so silly.
That's partly why, in my opinion, of the three 90s era Trek series, my honest opinion, I think you can agree DS9 was the best one.
It was the dark horse of the family, and it tried to push boundaries. Yeah,
TNG was good. Reminder, but as I think because DS9 tried to push the envelope a bit more, it stood out more.
Well, it didn't do that for the first few seasons. It tried to with the stories, but the characters and everything else was pretty much the same.
Yeah, but you can kind of forgive the early parts of the series because they're still finding their place.
It
happens.
That just means the writers don't know what they're doing. They're not confident enough to write, but they're like, I want to try and write a big scary black captain who punches Q in the face and he gets pissed off and he breaks. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Just do it.
Hey, that was still funny.
No, it's good. I'm glad they have people doing things outside of the standard Federation-esque vibe of everyone's happy and peaceful. We think things through. It's like, no, Cisco punches you in the face and then he talks to you.
I mean, it's Q. He kind of has it coming no matter who it is.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just after 380, the United Federation of Planets would...
This giant machine. Giant, was it a hollow...
I think it's a camera.
Hollow camera? Yeah, something like that. It's just a very complicated piece of hardware.
Yeah.
It's a photograph machine.
It's powered by Kodak.
Core of Federation space that are considered to be paradises. While we could try to look at planets such as Vulcan, Andor, and Teller Prime, we don't have a ton of information on them. Due to this, we're going to analyze Earth. Earth is, according to dialogue found in the original series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, a paradise where literally there is no want and no crime. Humans have evolved past their basic negative impulses. They are happy and they're docile.
So that's a little hard to say. Say that we've evolved past our negative impulses. I don't think so. I don't think that ever goes away. We're still machines. We're still mammals of a biological nature. And we just have more reason not to behave like animals because we have everything we need. We're not.
How many Federation captains and commodores turned into insane in TOS alone? There was that crazy commodore who decided to, after he lost his entire crew to the Doomsday device or machine, he decided to take control of the Enterprise and then attack that fucking thing alone. That guy who found an alternative Earth with Americans and Chinese battling with each other, and then Kirk had to rewrite the Constitution. Tell them what the Constitution means because they didn't understand it.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, no. They were just as people as now.
Yeah, the joke is in Star Trek that every admiral, one time or another, will be a jerk or do something evil for no reason.
Yes. Even TNG and all the other ones as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what he means by docile.
I mean, in season 6 of DS9 in the finale, when Admiral Ross gives Cisco an ultimatum of whether to be a Starfleet captain or the emissary, I'm just like, dude, you more than anyone know how beneficial that is to the Federation right now. But then you realize later, they literally show us, oh wait, he's Section 31. I'm just like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, every admiral has some ulterior motive or is planning something or doesn't share all the information with everyone. It's like, what the hell is what are these admirals doing all day? Just scheming behind everyone's backs? Okay.
At least Ross makes sense because he's Section 31.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess the only admiral, I think it was during that battle with Cisco, who was calling that. Was he a kid? No, he was an admiral, yeah, above Cisco during the war with the Klingons and the founders, and
I think that was Ross, yeah, Admiral Ross.
Yeah, the only one that was relatively okay. Yeah. Anyway,
even if he's Section 31,
I know.
But anyway.
He has a dark and mysterious past. Okay.
Yeah, and then the whole separate theory about maybe Cisco was Section 31. I'm just like, no.
Oh God.
I mean, he fits the MO, and I'm just saying it's not as likely as people think.
Yeah, it was bad enough when Bashir was discovered he was an augment. You're like, okay, that's nice, thanks.
Yeah, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Hell, even explicitly stated in the original series, The Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine. Voyager just inferred it. However, ironically, in every series that's set in the 24th, 25th, and 31st century, we see the exact opposite of this claim. Ultimately, crime and even hardship still exists. it is so obvious that humans are being hypocritical that...
Okay, but in what context? Like, give us examples. We can't just say crime still exists. Yes, people still screw up and do bad things, but it's not like a daily occurrence. And even in TNG, we had, what was that military academy that Wesley was a part of? And was it the Tom Paris actor, or was it the same character? I can't remember.
It was the same actor. It was a different character. It was supposed to be that same character from that episode to come into into Voyager.
Right.
It was supposed to be the same character, but they decided against it.
Right. So they were doing things they shouldn't be doing that were illegal. Someone got killed, and they had to have to do an investigation for why that happened. And all the cadets were lying to protect the group. You know.
Yeah, I remember that was literally Starfleet Academy.
Yeah. So, yes, people are still not angels. That's true, but it doesn't mean they're perfect. Like, just because all of basic needs have been met doesn't mean you're not going to like go crazy. Sometimes you're going to do stuff behind people's back because it's against the rules, because it's exciting, because it's fun, or what?
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of the Maquis.
Oh yeah, we don't like the agreement with the Cardassians. They're doing bad things. We're going to stop them. They've been killing our people. No one's doing a thing about it. So
yeah.
Kind of like in KOTOR, the whole premise of Revan. He's like getting tired of the council doing nothing. He's going to take it upon himself to go stop the Revans, not the Revans, the Mandalorians from
Mandalorians,
butchering
the
people.
Neo Crusaders.
And then he creates or he doesn't create a religion. Everyone just follows him. They call them the Revanites or the Revanchrists.
I think that's
like
the
that.
MMO.
Yeah,
The old Republic, I guess.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Well, in the context of Starfleet, it's like because they want to uphold that agreement with the Cardassians, not to cause any trouble between them. It's like that's the people that became the Maquis decided it's like we're going to take this matter into our own hands. It's like this is fucked up. And it's like it was plenty of territory that the Federation had on the Cardassian side of the border. It was plenty. So yeesh.
Okay.
Even we can see right through them.
Put their lives in jeopardy over an extended period of time, and those same friendly, intelligent, wonderful people will become as nasty and as violent as the most bloodthirsty Klingon.
Yeah, so will any living thing if you put their lives in jeopardy. What are you talking about? If you're starving, if you're under duress, if someone's about to kill you, yeah, you're going to be a bit tense. You're going to be a bit stressed out. You might have a flight or fight response. You might lash out violently. You might steal to survive. You might do many things. That's true. Doesn't matter what time period you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Or alien species you are. So this is across all life forms. Nature doesn't just go away because we have lots of food or something like that.
Yeah, those instincts are still in you.
When you gauge the reality of the situation versus the lie that is believed by the populace.
What is this lie he's referring to? What is he talking about?
Why is he repeating the same clip?
I don't know. Yeah.
Editing is kind of hard.
Editing, getting a 2-second clip out of a 30 or 45-minute program. It's so hard. Yeah.
A 35-minute program that has like over 500 episodes probably at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, probably that much, I would say, if you combine TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager together. It's probably like 500 episodes, I would say.
There's lots of stories about insubordination and tribunals and all kinds of legal proceedings. He could have chosen any one of those. But let's just repeat the old one, because this crazy camera is amazing.
Like Drumhead from TNG. That would be perfect for you.
Yeah, that was great. That was good. Measure of a Man. They're all good ones.
Yes.
Would call its evolutionary advancements, and generally it does seem like they fit this standard. But ultimately, we know because of certain episodes that this is largely due to the creature comforts of technology.
When I had the chance to show that no matter what anyone did to me, I was still an evolved human being.
I failed. I repaid kindness with blood. I was no better than an animal.
When they're on Earth, they don't have anything to worry about, nothing to fear. However, when they're in situations where they might starve or die, humanity reverts back to its baser nature. In the Trek universe, nurture wins out whole cloth over nature. So it makes sense with this understanding of humans in mind that there has to be controls. But more on that later. Even if we assume that humans in Star Trek are naturally lacking the vices we see in the real world, which they are definitively not. They have those vices. But let's just assume that they don't. Let's assume that Picard is absolutely right that humans have shed all negatives of being human. Even if all of that is true, the problem is the universe doesn't allow for humanity to enjoy this luxury. Klingons, Romulans, the Borg, hell, the Dominion.
I'm a little bit confused what he's talking about here. He's saying, okay, Picard says that humans have evolved past our basal needs of desire and, I don't know, gathering and hoarding. I don't know. But the universe doesn't allow us to enjoy that luxury? Like, it's a hostile universe. Yeah, we have weapons and shields and we go to war.
Yeah, that's why the Federation exists.
Yeah, it's a military organization. It's not some school you go to and everyone just is a bunch of scientists.
Like, how many times we had an episode where there's like a more advanced alien race and Enterprise is like no other choice but to defend itself with weapons because like otherwise they're gonna be destroyed utterly.
Right.
Like if they wouldn't have weapons, because is that like what he's like trying to like say? Because like they dare to like have like something prepared in case like it's all going down.
Yeah, that
like,
was
it's obvious. Like there's Romulans as well. Like they are always the evil guys.
Yeah.
There's not a single time when they never fucked up Federation things.
Only when they're subdued or part of an organization where they're less Romulan is when they're actually okay.
Yes. Or maybe when they are just half Romulan, yeah.
Yeah, like the only time I remember where it was Geordi, his legs wouldn't work and the Romulan couldn't see, I think. No, it was the other way around. It was they were stranded on some planet and it was some bad thing happened and they realized they needed to work together to survive. And one of them had to carry the other, and the other one had eyes. So,
yeah, that was great, yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that. So it's like, yeah, anyone who's under duress will realize in order to survive, they have to compromise. It's like, yep, that's right.
I was about to like say that episode where Riker is like in like a fake world where the episode is first set up that like he's in like a dream. That Romulans captured him, and they fake like a new world where he's the captain of the Enterprise, but they are having diplomatic points with the Romulans. And like I would say, like yeah, like that's the only point, man, because the Romulans didn't really exist in that episode.
Oh,
they were all fake.
that was one of those like, oh, it's all a dream bullshit. Like, oh, okay,
yeah, it was like so lame.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and the computer can't process. It's like, what? You're telling me you can't use quantum computing to be as fast as data because data's having like what is going on? How is that a
Shut
glitch?
up.
Yeah, all are just pissed off. This is so stupid.
I beg your pardon.
It was kind of a lame. I like the idea. It's just the errors, the flaws in the illusion.
That one scene when he's like, "Yeah, this is all fake." That wasn't good. But everything else is like, "Ah, oh, please go away."
Oh boy.
All are just major examples of things that humans have to deal with. Those are the major ones. They have a ton of minor ones as well. Morals and ethics are wonderful if everyone plays by those rules. If they do, then everyone can be the superior version of themselves. But the moment one side stops being above board, well, everyone has to drop.
Okay, what is he talking about? Is he talking about humans and humans? Is he talking about like encountering aliens? Like what is he on about? If it's aliens, they have no rules. It's you versus them, and they're just meeting in outer space.
even if it's just humans, like what the hell is he gonna do when he has to face Khan, for example? Because I don't think you can like persuade him vocally.
No, he's
yeah.
super
No.
intelligent. He knows he's superior. He wants to kill you or enslave you.
It's just crazy.
Like, okay, like Picard is like quite a diplomat, but I don't think even he can like convince Khan that he's an idiot.
The whole point of Khan, I believe, is he is a superior human and he has superior desires and ambitions outside of the average person. So he wants power, he wants control, he wants to dominate, and women find that attractive. So that's part of the story as well. So yeah, it's part of the history of Trek. How why don't we have superhumans in the future? It's like, oh, we had a war. It's like, oh, okay. Why don't we have androids? Oh, we had a big problem. No one could do it.
A war that they are very inconsistent about every time it's brought up.
Yeah, it's kind of wishy-washy. Yeah, but it's one way to deal with these questions. Like, why can't we just have a fleet of androids? It's like, we're not smart enough to make them. And then we have an actual judicial hearing about the very thing. And then we talk about Data's nature, his brother, his history, his creator,
his daughter.
Him trying to create another version of himself. Yeah, all kinds of great stories about that. So that's what you do in science fiction. You don't just brush it under the rug like, oh yeah, it was back in the past and we had a war and stuff happened, you know. But it would have been nice to have.
I mean, I'm surprised how consistent they were about a lot of the stories about Data and his relationships.
Yeah, I do at a point like what they did with Bashir. At the same time, I really didn't like it because it came out of nowhere. And if they wanted to have like people doing illegal stuff, like augmenting their children so they're not medically retarded or whatever, it's like, great. Well, how can you fix that? And they still have to go from someone who's slow at learning as a child to like super smart at everything. And not only smart, but like physically endowed as well. Like Bashir was like, I don't know, reaction speed and strength and all this crap. You're like, okay, that's news to me. It would have been nice if they had that in mind from day one, but no, they figured it out. And
I thought it was fine.
Have that when they were in that alternative universe.
Oh yeah.
Bashir was like shoved into that mining operation, I believe. And then like he looked really fucking weak.
Yeah.
You mean the mirror universe?
Yeah, mirror universe. That's the name. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Would have been nice, but like little clues, right? Like that would have been great if they did that, but they didn't. So
I think the closest thing to any kind of clue was Trials and Tribulations, where it's like he smacks a guy during the cafeteria fight on K7. And it's like, supposedly he faked hurting himself from that punch. That's pretty much it.
I faked myself.
Like, because he was genetically enhanced, he could throw the punch just fine and it wouldn't happen to anyone, but supposedly he had to fake the punch, like, hurting him.
Yeah.
I honestly don't believe that.
He's basically Clark Kent trying to fake, getting hurt. And, oh, it hurt me.
If they planned it from the beginning, it's damn clever, but I'm just like, no, I'm pretty sure they didn't plan it, and I'm pretty sure before the reveal, he really did hurt himself with that punch.
The problem with Bashir as a character is they never really knew exactly what to do with him. Was he going to be the heartthrob, the love interest, the quirky, goofy guy who's flirting with everyone? Is he really sweet? Is he really a horn dog? What kind of guy? Like, they never narrowed that down and figured it out what he's going to be until 4th or 5th season. Like, okay, now he's the super smart dude with a mysterious past, and he could help people with his amazing brain. Like, okay.
Credit where it's due, he got better.
I know, it just takes 5 years to get there. And like, oh, come on, guys.
That's my point. It's like, credit where it's due, he got better. It just took a long ass time to get there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Their standard. This is the entire justification of Section 31, after all. It assumes that humanity is ethical, has shed off its baser nature, and will defend what is good and righteous. And that the way people like Bashir or Picard thinks absolutely cannot work. At least not without someone there to protect them. Someone has to watch the sheep to protect them from the wolves.
All right.
Skip 806. 806.
Why is this edit?
All
This
right.
is 806.
So, guys, if you don't know what's going on, this is an advertisement within the show.
Yeah, for Surfshark.
So he's blending the idea of, I don't know, some future commander or guy in charge changing all these rules, and people are like, wait, but that's not the rules we had before. And then, oh, I want you to download this VPN. They're using, and this whole advertisement that goes on. So yeah, let's skip ahead.
Riker sure lost himself.
Oh my God, yeah, Jesus.
And also the background here, Star Trek, blatantly Star Trek Online.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's the game. Okay.
Yeah, that's Star Trek Online. Yeah. Also, yeah, just skip right to 806 in the video. That's where it ends.
What the fuck was that?
You can look for the skit. Yeah, I know.
I have no idea.
It's like it's for the skit.
This is pathetic. 4 minutes?
I think right there, yeah.
Oh God. All right.
4 minutes of shilling.
He already advertised the first second of the video.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but this is the actual that's the actual sponsorship thing.
Yeah. All right.
It's your boy Raid Shadow Legends.
No, but don't worry. Well, anything's better than that. But we're good now. We should be good now.
All right.
So if the entirety of the population falsely believes that humanity and other species now are just paragons of righteousness, the lie going so
How
far
many
as to
times
say
is
that
he gonna
humans
play
no
the
longer
same
even
clip?
experience these emotions.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Then there
You have
must be
entirety
some
of
way
Star
that this
Trek.
deception is propagated. Additionally, it is logical that the belief in such things impacts how the populace interacts with each other and how you could manipulate it. One of the possible...
What is he talking
Maybe.
about?
But yeah, why is this connected at all? Is he gonna have a point?
He's saying it's a big lie.
I haven't discovered it yet.
Yeah, he's saying it's all a big lie because everyone has to believe in the lie of the law or whatever the rules are. It's like, yes, that's how societies are made.
The lie is freedom, and the reality is control over the populace.
Yeah, but in what freedoms are taken away or what control is being imposed? Like, what exactly is the problem here?
Well, like the Federation at least
that's what
maintains
he's
the
to
Prime
say.
Directive, so like they aren't like authoritarians people. Because like if they see that like the civilization is not ready yet, then they just not even gonna bother, unless some other Star Fleet captain fucked it up, so they have to clean it up afterwards.
I don't see the Prime Directive as authoritarian.
Well, we need actual examples. He's saying this is a problem and where, because there's plenty of episodes where people do bad stuff. You're like, okay, let's look at that. And why is that a problem within the Federation as a whole, within the theory of peace and freedom and this and that? And how is it authoritative? How is it hurting their freedoms? Like, which one is it? Which rule? I want that. Give it to me.
way for the manipulation is the use of language. We know that the Federation standard is likely English. This is based
okay.
No, it isn't. They have like a translator implemented to them. All of them.
Yeah, the idea is that everyone speaks their own language and the translator just does it automatically for you so quickly that you can't tell, whereas other shows...
Darmak and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yeah. Whereas other...
even in that episode, it's pointed out that like it's working. They just like talking metaphors.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that one time where like in Way of the Warrior, where Gowron just decided to speak Klingon to say it's a good day to die, even though the translator should be working.
Exactly. So this is all theater. We know it's not actually working. There's other shows like Babylon 5 where they actually show the original, like the Narn language, and someone's speaking in Narn, and then they show the recorded version, and then they translate the recorded version. So it's assumed that the translator is working, but in other shows, they actually have people learn Terran, and that's the official language of Babylon 5. Everyone all the ambassadors have to learn Terran, or they use translators and they talk really slowly and they wait for the translation to pop up, and some aliens don't even speak it. So that is the the theatrical thing that we assume is happening in reality of the stage, which is Star Trek. So we know it's not happening because
As long as Terran isn't Esperanto, we're good.
Kirk, come on, Esperanto.
Jesus, could you imagine?
Oh boy. In the future, everyone should be speaking this language. It's the best amalgamation
Hell no.
of all the English language.
No. It's a good attempt. I'm just like, hell no.
Oh boy, that was fun. By the way, I think Shatner's in space. Is he going up today or tomorrow? I can't remember.
Is he?
Seriously?
Yeah, he's going into space this week. I thought it was today or tomorrow. I can't recall.
91-year-old man going to space?
I know. Amazing, huh?
Wow.
I mean, then again, Hawking managed to go to space despite his condition before he died. So, doesn't really surprise me that much.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad he's doing it because of all the things to do in life, let's get William Shatner in space.
I want him in the suit though, like the captain's suit.
What, in his old uniform?
Yes. I know he's not gonna fit in it anymore because he's just too fat. But
No, I wouldn't go that far. They'll probably if they decide to go for that, they'd probably like tailor him a new one.
Oh, apparently the flight was delayed due to weather. So.
Oh.
Of course.
Wow. Okay. Cool stuff. Anyway.
Evidence and dialogue found in the Star Trek Discovery episodes New Eden and There Is a Tide. And that's not even to mention the fact that the names of vessels as well
Star
as the
Trek
words
Discovery
listed on
doesn't
computer
count.
panels
It's not
are
Star
all in
Trek.
English.
It doesn't
Tying to
exist.
the fact
It's
that
not Star Trek.
generally it is accepted that the language that is spoken by people will impact their culture. Various languages will often
still basing
emphasize
this
and
on a lie.
de-emphasize certain aspects of a civilization.
Wait a second. He's trying to say certain languages have certain intentions from a people. Okay, I can get behind the understanding of words, and certain words as a whole will say, okay, there's an intention behind the creation of those words, the multiple meanings of those words. You could say there is an additional message outside of that. But as a whole, politically, I really don't think so. I don't think Chinese, the language, or Hungarian, or any other language has some weird political undertone that they're.
I mean, look, for example, like the word for black in Spanish is quite political if you see it that way.
Sure, but
Not really.
by nature of itself, no, it's not trying to say anything aside from that's just the word we use for the color black. So this is really pushing. Like, it's like saying the Japanese language is imperialistic. It's like, no, it's not. It's just a language of how people formulated ideas based on experience. So it's like, okay,
Oh yeah.
this is a rock, I'm going to call it this. This is a color, I'm going to call it that.
They have like quite descriptive words for like even like how you call someone. There's I feel like 10 different ways to like call someone, and it like depends like how you feel about the person, how much you respect him too.
All these flavors of politeness, like that's really big in their language. So how you address them based off age, how you think of them, how they would reply to you because of whatever your standing is in society. The weird one I never understood was dono, which is an old suffix, sorry, that is so ancient it's very rarely used. But because
I think I encountered it recently in Lone Wolf and Cub. Like if they are like doing the same martial art, like or like some similar business, then they like refer to each other as like colleagues, and that's why they call dono.
it's an archaic version of being formal, and that's why we only see it in those older samurai stories or in medieval fantasy game worlds where that might be a certain term you might use for someone of a certain caste or a certain family house or whatever. But very rarely used, but it's still a very formal language. So I wouldn't say it's politically motivated or politically defined. It's just how they communicate efficiently within the nature of their manners, which is what all language is. It's all about manners. It's like, how do I conduct someone? How do I talk to them without showing hostility? Because I could always punch you in the face. I don't want to punch you in the face. I want to talk to you. I want to get information. I want to be friendly. All about manners. And that's what writing is a lot about. When you write for the first time or you write at all, you were raised a certain way, and that is your style, in a sense. Not all of it, but that's some of it, of how you write. So that's why you read more books to get the style or the manners of those authors and what time frame they're coming from and why they talk that way and why they write that way. So I don't think language is inherently political. That's a stretch. Anyway.
Tell that to the people that created Latinx.
That's something else. That is
retardation.
That is, I don't know what that is actually. Yeah.
It's utter stupidity.
Creating words for the sake of it. Yeah. Anyway.
It's Pende X. Whoever says Latinx.
Okay.
This will impact the way others think. For instance, as an example, a language that has gender associated to specific objects could have certain implications, versus one that is gender neutral. Does the choice of English push any kind of agenda? I honestly don't know.
So all he said is there are certain male and female terms associated with objects. You're like, yes, so? What's wrong with that?
You know what? Now I see it. Like, if they would have used English for the Borg, they would have been still alive. Like those, 20 or so crew members would died, and the Borg can push the Enterprise. It's all because they used English. They were saying oh no, it's imperialistic. Go away.
They should have used Vulcan. Yeah, that would have been a lot safer, much more peaceful. Oh boy.
But it is consider. Another consideration is that of the communicator. Dating back as early as the 22nd century, communicators have been used by the United Earth, Vulcan, Teleprime, Andor, and many, many others. It would be adopted by the United Federation of Planets Starfleet as well. We also know that these...
The communicator? What is he talking about?
I don't remember communicate ever mentioned.
Does he mean the universal translation?
Yeah. That's always how it's referred to in universe.
Yeah, the communicate. What do you the thing on the people's badges that they press to communicate? What are you talking about?
Communicator is the thing that they just used to communicate with the flagship, but that's not used to translate the thing.
It's like describing a cell phone as the phone or the thing used to talk to people. It's no, it does many things nowadays. What do you mean? They've adopted the cell phone as a form of communication. Some people have cell phones just to watch TV. I don't know. You could use many things on a communicator. Communicate to people, aliens, maybe.
It all just depends.
Yeah, what is his point here? I don't get it.
Devices are programmed to only allow certain words from the various languages. So here's a question. How hard would it be to change certain terms to make them more or less palatable?
What do you mean? The translator would just stop using words and use other words? Why? How? Who would do that? And wouldn't people realize that very quickly? Hey, that's not the right word for I want to come in and welcome you to my home or whatever alien term that might be. Or I want to open the door and shoot your head off with a shotgun. That's not what
maybe the Klingons.
Yeah, yeah, they'll have different words of how they're going to kill you for sure. Yeah, but it's not going to be lost in translation. That would never happen. There's a science behind making these things. You wouldn't just change the lexicon because it's politically savvy this year. That would not happen in the future. That'd be some retarded version of the Federation where we're going to stop using gendered words and terms. Why? I think that's stupid.
You've never read real Shakespeare until you read it in Klingon.
Yeah.
Fucking Klingon operas.
Oh, boy. Jesus.
As an example, if you take an action such as, say, using a biogenic weapon to poison a planet so that it can't be inhabited by humans, and you change that event You change that term to say the planet was terraformed so that it can be inhabited by the Cardassians after the loss of one of their homes. You change the discussion of what that captain may or may have not done entirely.
That's not what happened in the scene. Cisco deliberately...
Wasn't it like terrorists who were threatening Cisco at this scene?
Yeah, and Cisco was like, oh, you want to play hardball? Okay, I'm going to destroy the entire atmosphere so no one can live here for like 200 years or whatever the thing was.
Yeah, this was with that was with literally with in the interaction with Eddington.
Yeah, and Eddington gives himself up. So he's playing. Yeah. He's playing. Oh, you're gonna keep fighting? Oh, well, here's my card to play. Boom. What are you gonna do, buddy? And Eddington gets pissed off. He's like, okay, fine. I'll stop fighting. That was a great scene.
You know, there's also another theory where supposedly pretty much all the Maquis were actually Section 31 operatives, right?
Oh, God.
That would just, in my opinion, I mean, it could work. It just overcomplicates things as they are.
That is just, how much power do these guys have? I thought they were a small shadow group. No, it's a huge group within the Federation.
In general, I'm just like, no, please no.
Yeah, it's a pro, is it a what is it? It's not a pro-human front. What is it? It's just a bunch of
yeah, it's just also like all the colonists from the Federation colonists from the Cardassian side of the border that lost their land because of the treaty with the Cardassians.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't go as far as like Cerberus, for example, but it's at least a little similar.
Yeah, I have to rewatch.
Except that Maquis are more powerless.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Okay.
In fact, terms or words and change them from one thing to another, you can impact how an entire civilization views a certain kind of people or ideology. Additionally, if you also tie the equipment that allows you to communicate with other people to the best way to track a person, then you now have a way to impact what's being said, see whom is around whom, and where they are congregating. Honestly, Utopia has never been so well protected from insurrection. All of the things discussed before are interesting and do show contradiction, but they aren't as concerning. We do know that words are omitted, but there's no direct evidence of manipulation of the community.
This is like the 5th time we've seen this shot. Just kidding.
Same episode, yeah. It's like, show something else.
Was it connected?
It's the key to all of this.
The
farmer is like the middle point of all the peasants that occupy the Enterprise, the Federation.
I hate the fact that it's some holographic camera, and they need it to be like still, because once you have a hologram, you have the 3D representation of the scene. It doesn't matter what angle you start at, or still, it's just turn the thing on and walk around. It'll capture everything you get. Just spin it around, throw it on the ground. It doesn't matter. If it's worth its weight in anything, it should be able to capture any data. And once you have that data, you can manipulate it any way you want. I don't get this idea of taking a photograph for a holographic camera.
Look at this photograph.
It's so goofy.
I swear if he's going to repeat it again.
Yeah, you probably will.
Our freedom is being stolen.
However, the abilities of the Federation and Starfleet go far beyond that.
I found something, and you're not going to like it. This is Mr. Paris' memory engram for the last 24 hours. As you can see, it has a very consistent and distinctive modulation.
We know that Starfleet monitors the brainwaves of its officers, as well as has direct monitoring of all Federation citizens, whether they wear a uniform or not. Looking at the Star Trek Voyager episode, Cathexis, we see that Starfleet vessels and medical personnel actively monitor the crew's vitals. This includes the brain. These scans are so meticulous that they can identify memories being imprinted onto the brain itself and know if it's being altered.
Right. This was the episode where there were 2 aliens in... one was in Chakotay and the other one was in Tuvok, and they're trying to keep the Voyager away from this nebula where they live.
No, didn't the doctor say Tom Paris?
Yeah, no. The aliens jump between people, and
okay. Now I remember. Yeah,
everyone does things they don't remember doing, even though they were physically there, and it's this weird battle. One alien wants to bring them to the nebula, and the other one doesn't. because one alien wants to eat all their neural energy or whatever bullshit that is, because Chakotay's brain dead at the start of the show. And it's just goofy hijinks. It's just like, what the hell is going on in this episode until they figure out to use some scanner. So the idea that in the future you could scan everything, you have health records of people as they go about their daily business, you could call that an invasion of privacy, but they're not doing anything with it aside from making sure you're healthy.
Yeah.
So imagine you had constant surveillance of your your physiology, like up to the engrams on your brain, meaning what you're doing, to the point where they can say, "Holy shit, this time of day, there's this weird engram we didn't expect. How did that get there?" And this is how they figure out it's alien beings controlling everyone on the ship, which is crazy when you think about it, but that's the deduction they come up with. So we know engrams have been around since the original series. So this is nothing new.
Yeah, these kinds of readings on their own really don't tell you much about the person,
right?
Other than their health.
It's kind of like having an EKG or any other monitoring of your body wirelessly and freedom as you walk through your house or whatever, all for your benefit. So in case anything's wrong, they can make sure you're okay. Or if you get sick or you fall down and hurt yourself, boom, they'll know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that invasion of privacy? Yes.
So pretty much a life alert in real time.
It is like a super life alert, yeah. So people aren't comfortable with that. I understand, but in the future, no one really cares. It's not a big deal. It's pretty normal. Doesn't bother them.
Yeah, the implication here is that they only use it specifically to identify any discrepancies.
Right. So this is the equivalent of myself saying, well, in the future we don't have money, but that means if I were to go to the future, I'd lose all my money now, and being angry that I wouldn't be able to buy anything because I lost all my money, even though everything is free anyway, and not realizing that everything's free.
I mean, TNG, there is an episode in early TNG that literally addresses that with some people that were in part of a NASA experiment that they were sent into the future.
Right. That was a weird episode.
But for the point being made right now, they did address that.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, we don't have any needs, we don't have any wants, money is not our concern, da-da-da-da. But this is what he's arguing, is that, look at this invasion of privacy. It's like, yes, it is a lot of data controlled by the onboard computer on the ship to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah, it's and again, this particular data really doesn't say much about the person other than health. It doesn't say anything. There's no other indication of what the person is doing or anything like that. It just tells you, there's a change here in their heart rate or something.
And let's assume
doesn't tell you much.
Let's assume the information is everything. It's like everything you did, everything that was your heart rate, your brain patterns, everything you've eaten, everything. It's like, that's a lot of information. Is anyone going to blackmail you through this information? How are they going to do that? What are they going to charge you with? What crazy nefarious scheme? The whole problem of security and having privacy is that so someone cannot take away your stuff or your quality of life. If you don't care about your quality of life or your stuff, you're a poor guy, or I don't know, you're a monk or something, who cares? Why do you care about privacy? What's the big deal?
And the only way anything on a societal level whatever happens, it's like the coup in DS9, but that's only because Leighton knew exactly how to work the system.
What I'm trying to say is that if you don't have these physical concerns like monetary gain or loss, or where you're going to eat tomorrow, or where you're going to sleep tomorrow, privacy is where were you? I was in my room. I was outside. I was doing this. I was bettering myself. You're proud of what you're doing because you're not concerned with all these mundane bullshit that we're doing right now. So this argument is just, you're comparing this status, this ethno-cultural centric view from where you are now to this 400-year future where all these basic needs have been solved. and everything around it, this information is for your benefit. No one's going to hurt you with it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not,
This universe has made it clear time and again that like even if there is something there, it's like humanity's beyond that at this point.
yeah. So no one's going to hurt you.
At least most of humanity.
Yeah, the information is not going to destroy your lifestyle or your career or whatever, because your lifestyle and your career are not about making money. It's about being a better you. And this is part of that. So anyway, this is a weird argument he's bringing up that I just can't grasp. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, there really isn't enough. There isn't enough just from the universe itself, from the Star Trek universe itself, to support this argument all that well.
Yeah, I don't see the problem, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, they're like you really can't see it the way he's describing it.
Okay.
During brain states, we also know that cortical inhibitors could be used to impact a brain's waves along with other parts of the said organ. Hell, Starfleet technology has the ability to make a dead corpse look like it is alive by generating the needed impulses.
Well, they can actually wipe your memory. Like, this is an actual medical procedure back in the original series. So
Yes.
they can do lots of crazy shit, and there are reasons for that, but it's very rare. It doesn't happen all the time. So yeah, they can do some amazing medical procedures that will make you forget the past year or whatever. I can't remember what the episode was about.
I think I remember in TOS. I think like Kirk meets up with an old guy who happens to be the ex-executioner or like leader of a penal colony he used to be on. And he had to make a decision that like they have to kill off like half the population because they don't have enough resources. And later it turns out that this guy has memory problems, or he just like hides himself so well that like he's an actor now, but his daughter is like committing like crimes, as in like he's killing off people. And like it's at first they think it's the guy, but then it turns out that it's the daughter, and like they wipe her memory. That's one occasion I remember, but the rest,
which series was that?
The original.
It's season 1.
Yeah, it was.
TOS.
It's the scene
okay.
where Kirk is on that I don't know, some operating table, and he's like just like he's making all these faces. It's amazing.
Oh, that one. Yes, that well. That's a different one. I think it's also season 1.
Yeah.
But I think like they are very clear about that it's like outlawed in Federation, so it's like illegal for them to even consider it.
It's great.
So like him implying that like, okay, like the Federation could do that. Yes, they can, but it's outlawed. They are not permitted to even like do this. And like how they work pretty much is that like they would find out eventually that they have done something like this.
Yeah, so in the future, they have all this information and technology to do crazy shit to someone, but they don't. So you can say this about any kind of technology. It's like we have the ability to nuke the planet, 10,000 times over, but we won't.
Especially
Federation could destroy a galaxy, but they just don't because that's not their purpose.
especially after the Dominion War.
Yeah, you could program this guy on the screen to be a crazy, murdering sociopath who blames everything on a contagion or something, but it's secretly him infecting everyone and killing them off. But they won't do that because that's crazy. So, yeah, you can do a lot of stupid shit when you have power and authority, but you don't, because that would be antithetical to why you're there and what you're doing with it. So, not a big problem in the future. Crazy people. Anyway.
Let me be succinct. Starfleet both actively monitors the brainwaves and memory engrams of officers on a daily basis and has the ability to change them.
Yes, but they don't. Remember that I talked about this before. The psychopath on Voyager who is having these problems, and he goes to therapy, and he ends up being a helpful member of the crew. at a time when they need a psychopath to kill alien insurrection or alien invasion. So yeah, he could have gotten some therapy. I think he did, but that was like, actually I should rewatch it. That was one of the more interesting episodes actually because of that character and introduced. So even if you are a menace to society and you have genetic problems of being antisocial and having all these urges to hurt people and yada yada, you can still get by even when you're outside of the society you're in. Like I would argue Voyager is outside of the society, even though they have all this technology and knowledge. He did not get the therapy. He probably would have gotten better if he was back in the Alpha Quadrant. So, but he persisted, and the story shows that he chose to be a better member of the crew. So I like those stories because it's interesting to show that even in paradise there are problems, and this is how they're dealt with.
Not only is this actively available, but in the Star Trek Picard episode Remembrance, we know that Starfleet officers with the appropriate clearance can find civilians anywhere on planet Earth, if not on other various ships or other planets. The surveillance that is done by Starfleet and its ability to change what you feel or think, and the duplicity of sanctioning Section 31.
Okay, this is the equivalent of saying, well, Starfleet has the authority to kill people. It's like, okay, so do police officers. They don't...
Yeah, well, like military pretty much. Like the US military could pretty much destroy everyone in the US. And yes, they have the equipment for that, but that's not what they are for.
Yeah. It's like you can make the argument. I could ask my superior officer, hey, I found a criminal. I want to murder them. It's like, what? No, that's not how this works. So this is not a problem. That's not how the police operate. That's not how investigations occur. We don't go around bombing houses with drone strikes because we think he's a bad guy. That's not how the law works. So I don't know.
They made it like a court martial case when like Kirk was accidentally like ejecting one of the pods when there was an ion storm. What they have like in like some kind of like trouble, and like they found footage that like he ejected one of the pods, and supposedly one of the crew members was inside, and then they almost like sentenced him to jail. And then it turned out that like it was one of the crazy crewmates that like he tried to like put dirt on Kirk himself. So they are extremely going by the book. So if they would like go against the law of Starfleet, then they would find out really soon.
Oh, I like to point out this is the 6th time we're seeing this scene.
Yes. But only 1.5 minutes left, isn't it? Or 2?
2 minutes left, yeah. Oh, boy.
But he has to plug in some Surfshark VPN.
Oh, yeah. He probably has to yet. He's not done selling us on that VPN service. Holy shit. Oh, my God. I wish he put more effort into actually explaining his point, because I'm still not hearing it.
Yeah.
He put all that effort into the VPN.
Yeah, the current point is, a high enough standing in Starfleet, you can erase a guy's memory. It's like, yes, and your point being?
Scary. I have to question how information is shared. What
computers
is the civilian populace told about the Borg, the Dominion War, and more? In alternate
probably
universe,
a lot.
Yeah. Probably it's all free because it's all public knowledge.
Didn't even like Picard's brother knew about this?
Yeah,
like, what happened? Like he knew exactly what happened.
Picard's brother knew about his involvement in Wolf 359. It's common knowledge at that point.
Some French guy growing grapes. He's like, well, it's this cybernetic entity called the Borg taking over your mind there, Johnny Boy.
When the Borg destroys like 10 Federation ships, then like I think Earth would be like knowledgeable of those events. Yeah,
I think they want to explain to people what the hell happened. Yeah, they wouldn't lie. Oh, we just blew up.
Picard killed them.
Then again, the cube waited all the way to Earth.
Yes. It almost reached
of course, at some civilians are going to be able to see that shit from the surface. Like, okay, what the hell is that? Okay, those are the Borg. It's like they came to Earth to try to assimilate, yada yada yada. Like, of course that could, especially at that point, it's going to be common knowledge. The Borg literally made it to the planet. You really can't hide it after that point.
If he's trying to say the suppression of information in wartime, or the death of like an entire ship, or destruction of a whole bunch of places, wouldn't get passed around the galaxy because you're in space or something, it's like, no, dude. It's war with an alien entity set out to kill everyone or capture everyone, whatever you want to call the Borg. It will get learned by someone. The universe over will know about it. So I know what he's trying to say, like suppression of information, but this is not Section 31 having a minor incident on a starbase somewhere. This is just in public, an explosion occurs near Earth.
Yeah, and especially the Dominion. The Dominion War had a very direct effect on Earth's society.
Yeah, I'm curious about. I don't remember. Was it first or second season with the crazy aliens that were bugs and they jumped into people's mouths and infiltrated Starfleet? I
remember. Yeah, that was Conspiracy. I think it was second season.
If that was shared with the public, that was like, holy crap, that's crazy.
That originally was meant to be a Borg plot before some of the plans in the writing changed.
Oh, I read about that, yeah.
Like, Maurice Hurley had set that up so that it was going to be like preparing the Earth to be assimilated by the Borg, like to destroy Earth's society from the inside out to get them ready.
That would
be easily assimilated.
I would have.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Yeah, if it was still a Borg plot,
not some weird bug alien who wanted to eat stuff. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's still. They could do. I'm still in favor of the idea that maybe they could do what Rogue One was for Star Wars. Maybe they can do some kind of like secondary story with the conspiracy plot.
Oh,
I guess.
Boy.
I would say like there isn't enough material for that.
It was their only attempt at horror that did not need to be that way. It was so bad. Like, oh, this is one of the worst episodes.
Well, Mark, you say that there isn't enough material for that, but then what's literally everything that Rogue One is based off of is just the one thing of the Death Star plans. But
Rogue One is not a good movie, though.
It's fine. It's better than the sequels.
Well, that was never a question.
No, Rogue One is a decent movie at the very least. It's not spectacular, but it's not bad.
All right. 2 minutes left.
We know that Starfleet will lie. As an example, yesterday's Enterprise, the Federation is lying about how well the war is going, or how bad it is going. They keep information away from the civilians.
Because otherwise they would be demoralized and they would give up, that's why.
And also alternate timeline. This is where it's an alternate timeline where basically Star Trek 6 never happened.
That's the one with Tasha Yar, right?
Yeah, where she was brought back because it's a separate timeline, of course.
Star Trek 6 happened, but like the Enterprise C was the one that got destroyed. Enterprise C was like beyond TOS.
Where the Kittimer Massacre never happened and they were still at war. I forgot, yeah. Because the Kittimer Massacre was like 20 years before TNG.
So
that's a separate event.
So his argument is, in an alternate universe, they suppressed information of what happened during the war. It's like, yeah, thanks. In an alternate reality, stuff happened. It's like, okay. Not helping.
Yeah, it's like the Kittimer Massacre is the linchpin of the somewhat current peace during all of TNG and some of DS9.
Yeah, but that's like saying in the Dark Mirror universe, they did bad stuff, therefore it could happen here. It's like, no.
Not really, no. The Mirror Universe's timeline is so drastically different that I very much doubt that.
Yeah, this is in this alternate reality, stuff happened, which could happen here. It's like, okay.
In an alternate reality, Spock used to have a beard.
Yeah, Spock had a dream where stuff happened. Like, oh my god.
Oh, Spock's
Didn't he
brain.
didn't he have a beard in the main timeline at one point?
No.
I think.
No, it's only Mirror Universe.
No.
Okay.
He
okay.
shaves. Anyway.
Yeah, of course.
So far out of world that we would think someone in the Prime timeline would do the same thing. Why wouldn't
Not
they
really.
hide information like how close Earth came to being assimilated? The Federation.
Why wouldn't they? Because they have
The
this.
cube, how could they not? How could they hide it? Again, the Borg cube made it to Earth. How are they going to hide that?
They are ordered to have status reports and report back to their command of what happened and what's going on. Like they can't just not communicate. It's like, oh yeah, we lost like 20 people and half in a cell. How did that happen? I don't know.
Also, even later, another cube made it to Earth and was destroyed by the Enterprise E. Really? Do you think they're going to hide that?
Yeah, he's making this weird house of like he's inventing this scenario. It's like it never happened this way. This didn't occur. This would never occur the way you're describing. Why are you saying this?
Yeah, even if the rest of the argument was sound enough, it's like that the bit about the cube from Best of Both Worlds, that really there's no way around that. How are they going to hide that?
Yeah, this is weird.
And not only that once, but a Borg cube made it to Earth twice. I don't see this part of the argument being any kind of legitimate.
Ugh.
It's painfully obvious.
It could happen, but it hasn't.
Yeah, but it's like it's so in the face of the Federation right there. It's like it's right there. How are they going to hide it? Moving on.
Through Stargate can identify what a person is thinking, where they are, and what they're doing. We know they are at least pushing a narrative that humanity has evolved past its baser emotions. Is it really a stretch to think that if they're willing to lie about this, they won't lie about other things for control of paradise? That leads to our ultimate question. It seems more likely than not that the United Federation of Planets, through Starfleet, are manipulating the population to create a perfect utopia.
But this is an alternative universe. God,
when, where, and
stop
how?
basing your evidence on that.
Yeah, I want to know where this happens.
And he's not even showing the alternate universe, by the way. He's
Okay.
showing like season 1 or season 2.
You can describe Picard, the show. That could work as an alternate universe because a lot of stuff happens there that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like he could easily show that 5-second clip of Picard telling it to Whoopi Goldberg's character that that like they are doing like propaganda to boost the morale of the Federation citizens, but he's not doing any of that.
Yeah, but then again, in that episode, Guinan sees through the timeline change.
Right.
Yes.
Because she's special. She has weird alien powers.
I mean, then again, what they've stated that has to do with her. That's in part because of her species, and it's like it's a bit out there, but it's like you can kind of suspend your disbelief at it. Yeah.
What a strange. They could do this, yeah, but they haven't, and they won't, and they never did. There's no implication they're doing it.
Only the one time in yesterday's Enterprise, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Can live with. And if this is so, is that negative? And the core planets, there is bliss, at least before 2380. No crime, you don't have to lock your doors, you live in the most perfect life. You can be whatever you want, or do whatever you want. Mostly. Is it worth it if the price shows you to be in a gilded cage? This might come as a surprise, but I don't know the answer.
Okay, what gilded cage are you referring to? What is the problem that the cage is? Like where is the lack of freedom? What freedom is not being allowed? Like what cage? Like you described a gilded cage. Where's the cage? What is the law? What authority did you give away? What is he talking? Like he's using words that have no meaning or place here.
He's being too vague about it.
I don't think he has any evidence. He's just, because they have all this authority and all this power and all this technology, therefore they can abuse it. It's like, why would they abuse the power? For what purpose? There's no monetary gain because there's no money. There's no political gain because there's no politics. You don't need politics to control anything. Is it standing in Starfleet or standing in some organization? Maybe. But then you'd be very specifically targeting individuals, not people as a whole. Is it because you're bored? Is it because you have nothing better to do? If you're a psychopath or some weird sociopath who wants to manipulate people behind the scenes for no reason?
I mean, that is pretty much why Admiral Layton did his coup.
No.
Remember that?
Admiral Layton. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like that was like in the midst of the Dominion War.
All right.
We're almost there.
Almost done.
If human or sentient sapient beings, happiness is the goal, and you can do so and have someone enjoy their life to the fullest, but it comes at the cost of their freedom and a lie.
Which freedoms? Tell us. What is the lie? It should be easy to say these things. Just give us examples.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. You could even say it's happening in the Trek universe, at least until Section 31 shows itself. And if it is, then why not? I really don't know the answer, but all of these are my opinions based on what we see. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, ultimately all our lives are a story. Make yours a good one.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's how he ends his videos? Make yours a good one? Is that?
Nah, that's just for this video.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming the next 10 seconds are... Oh, there it is, VPN.
I told you.
Yeah.
83% off. Oh my God. I gotta buy it right now.
AIDS.
Dear Lord.
So use Surfshark VPN to defend yourself against whatever.
Oh,
Okay.
God. What a weird video. What the hell was he trying to say? Man, it's all theoretical. Here's an alternate reality where stuff happens. You're like, that's not an argument. You're just showing me something that will prove that won't happen in this reality. Ugh. All right. Go into stream memes if we have any. Who knows? There's nothing.
None.
There's none?
Ooh, damn. That's a record.
We have 0 stream memes. Fantastic. We have... Mark, no. What did you do? Why did you do Is that the one where his consciousness is split and he has a good and evil Kirk?
I'd assume, yeah.
Or maybe like Shatner when he knows that his travel to space is being delayed.
Yeah.
Yes, he has to wear an old uniform.
He's gonna practice on some horses first. Oh, I gotta,
space horses.
Get in the saddle first, and I'll be ready to go.
Oh, he's going to space with his horse. Okay.
Okay.
I would like to see that, actually. That'd be a great idea.
That'd be funny.
Anyway, the reason why I watched this video is the other videos were so bad and so long. I don't think I could get anyone to watch those with me. Like, that's how bad they were. One of them was about Scarlett Johansson's camera angles in certain Marvel films, which I don't care. Like, it's not even worth talking about. I'm sure it's some feminist view of whatever, the male gaze and this and that. It's like, I don't care. The other one was some popular black YouTuber chick talking about single parent family children and daddy issues. And I'm like, oh, that's horrible. Let's not.
Maggie Mae Fish. Oh, wait. She's not black officially.
No, she's not black. And this girl makes a joke about her gigantic breasts. So I was like, okay, well, not Maggie Mae Fish for sure, but definitely not something I want to spend too much time. And that's like a 30-minute video. I'm like, oh, God. Do I really want to go through this? So.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep the suggestions coming. Keep in mind, if you want to watch a video with me and you make a recommendation, please remind the mods that so they know, because even if it gets voted on, if I can't get anyone to watch it with, it's not going to get picked. And unless you have a vested interest or know the topic very well, chances are you're going to get on if that's the case. If not, then I got to find someone who knows the topic. And luckily on Saturday we had Bears and Ginga who knew at least, well, Bears knew a little bit too much about Doom, I think. That was overkill. It's like, okay, dude, like once you have a super fan person about any topic, it doesn't matter what the other guy says, they're wrong. It's like, oh jeez. He's playing horribly. Every time he was watching the screen, I can't watch it.
Well, actually, like it plays a lot to like that video game because when the person was complaining a shit ton about like how the game is just too hard and like there are no alternatives, and like I think like Bears was like giving like the best review of like the most detailed review of like why this guy is fucked up, but yeah. I personally haven't played any Doom games after 2, so
I know, yeah.
Couldn't add too much.
After that, I'm like, I saw 3 because I was studying video game at the time when Doom 3 came out, and I was like, oh, look at the shaders, look at the lighting.
It's just so dark. I can't see anything.
It is extremely dark, yeah. And I was like, this is not Doom. This is something else. So
Doom 3 just sucks.
I don't like when the genres shift or they try to add genres on top of others, and it's like it's not designed to be that way. Why are you changing the formula? Make another version, but don't call it Doom. Call it something else. And borrow techniques, borrow components. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Games borrow and steal from each other all the time. Don't change it for what it's not. Like I'd hate to see, BioWare do something with Dragon Age and turn it into like an action RPG or hack and slash. That would be horrible. So, anyway, keep the suggestions coming. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you real soon. Have yourself a great evening. Happy Thanksgiving here in Canada. Take it easy, and God bless William Shatner wherever he's going this week. See you later.
Never forget the Prime Directive.
Oh God.